been working with the travel region for a year and a half, okay? But prior to that, I served on the board, was board president. When I was doing tourism promotion for Butte, funded the same way in many aspects, funded through bed tax dollars. Butte has a little different component. They also have a tourism business improvement district fund. So Visit Southwest Montana does not have that, but part of what Butte has is a Convention and Visitors Bureau funded through bed tax dollars. So I'm very familiar with the funding source, the expenditures, how money can be spent, the rules and procedures or regulations. And so it was when Sarah Bannon told me she was retiring, and she really set me up to be able to take over. But that being said, they still went out, our board still went out with, put it out there for people who are interested. They put it out for the public. It wasn't an automatic that Maria got it. But after the interview, turned in my resume, all that. After the interview, they offered me the job. So I've kind of been doing it alongside someone, been doing something similar since 2012, but been in this industry. I remember when we started as hoteliers, collecting the very bed tax that helps fund our region for promotion. So have been a part of tourism for my entire career.
And this particular aspect of tourism too.
Yes, yes. So, it's cool to have 9 counties, big region, as opposed to 1 community. However, Butte has so much to offer, as does Helena and Anaconda and Dillon and McAllister and Norris, and I could go on and on. But it's bigger budget. We operate on right around $1 million annually. And it's great fun. I have a very active board. I have a wonderful gal who is our bookkeeper, office assistant. She's remarkable. So I have a lot of support. Yeah, it's a good gig after month 1. But tourism tied for number 2, maybe, as far as an economic driver.
Wow.
We not only collect money that supports state parks, the Montana Heritage Commission, Montana's Museum, which will be doing their ribbon cutting in early December, the Montana Historical Society. We help support them as they went through the renovation. At the University of Montana, there's the Institute for Tourism and Recreation Research. And since the inception of the bed tax, we have gone ahead and funded research, which is so important when we're looking at what is the impact of tourism on our state. And we originally started off with 3%. And of course, a chunk goes to the Department of Commerce. And as time has gone on, we've increased to 8%. Of that 8%, 3 automatically goes to the general fund now. Okay, so we already are supporting Montana's at the tune of, I think it's like $650 per household. That 1% went to the Historical Society, and that sunsetted. And so now a portion of that goes through the equation and comes back to the regions and CVBs. And then we work in the world of the 4%. This 4% goes partially to the Department of Commerce, the Institute of Tourism, Recreation Research, State Parks, Heritage Commission, all kinds of wonderful things that we participate in. And when you break it down, after you break down the formula, we get about $1 million for this region. Butte also gets a portion of that because they have a designated Convention and Visitors Bureau, as does Helena, Anaconda, and Dillon in our region.
So, and you've got kind of a nice area to work with. It's probably one of the most beautiful places in the world, right? Southwest Montana.
And it's the best because, yes, we are between 2 national parks. And so, kind of got a given on visitors, right? But we also, that's a dilemma because people, as they're going from park to park, We need them to spend more time in this region. We offer that slower, more Montana authentic experience here. Nothing against my sister regions of Yellowstone Country and Western Glacier Country, but they get a lot of visitation. Guest room rates are higher. It's busier just because of what they have in their region. But we're the best between the two parks. So it's a blessing and it's not a blessing. We also having two major interstates cutting through our region. People have the tendency maybe not to stop. And I've often joked for Butte, maybe we need spike strips. It was tongue in cheek.
Right,
But
right.
we do. We offer the best. The best in small towns and restaurants and shopping and just that slower pace of life between those bigger communities.
Well, and it's not just pretty, but you've got this gritty history too.
Oh.
You know.
Really gritty. What do people love about our region? They love the ghost towns. They love the mining, the rock hounding. Phillipsburg or down at Crystal Park. They love our hot springs. Of course, they love our trails. But I feel that when people, and I found this, when in previous positions, when you travel and people say, where are you from? And you say Montana, and their eyes glaze over and they automatically think of the wide open spaces and the mountains and the waterways and the rolling hills and the prairies, and they think of, some solitude and not a lot of people. We already have that, and people think of that. But what we have to do is pair it with our communities, because it doesn't do us an awful lot of good to spend money promoting Montana, not only to Montanans, but to those that are not residents, if they're not going to be leaving behind a chunk of change. So while we want people to enjoy the trails and the fishing and the outdoor recreation, we want to tie it back to our communities where money can be spent and left behind. And you never know when something like what has happened between the relationship between Canada and the United States, that's had an impact. Maybe not so much here in this area, in our region, but my sister communities in regions further north, they feel it. Great Falls is feeling it.
Oh, I bet.
Kalispell. We did not attend. Annually we attend a show. It's Calgary Outdoor and Travel Show or something, and we get such a great response from the Canadians. They come by our booth and we have a big map on our display, and they point to where they come down, and maybe it's not all, maybe they don't make it all the way down to this region, or maybe they do, but they come in and they just love Montana. And maybe they're going south and then heading north again. But we didn't go because we just felt this year in March with the new administration that maybe we wouldn't be greeted as warmly as in the past. Now, Helena went and had a fabulous show. So I'm considering now, maybe we'll go this coming March of 2026,
Right.
and say, it's not us, we love you. And it's not because, it's all about the money. We just really have a wonderful rapport with our Canadian neighbors. I mean, they're delightful. During COVID, I not seeing them at the Chamber of Commerce. 2021, we didn't see them. I remember when they started to come back, and I was so happy, thank you for coming. My husband works at the Berkeley Pit viewing stand in the summer. He loves when he sees Canadians. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Also, it would help tremendously if we could get the film tax credit to be increased. We lost that battle in the last session, so it's still at the 12 million, but boy, if we could really be competitive, that would help us tremendously.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah, and speaking of that, when I was here in Butte and before COVID, we had a little film industry, a little entertainment committee, and it consisted of Jim Ward, who is a location scout, and he does all kinds of things. I mean, he does commercials to movies and whatnot. He's done that his whole career. Karen Burns with the city, myself. We had, with Steve Grover, with is it Montana Studios in the old
Right.
Power Building, one of his employees, Ainsley Sevier, helped us. We were this small little group, right? And then after having 1923 here, and the people who were able to get amazing jobs and really work and find out that this industry has so much as far as possibilities. If we were to pull everyone together, I don't even know how many hundreds of people, even if we just considered extras, that were a part of 1923, from laborers all the way, people driving cars, whatever. It was a great gig. And people have gone further with it. So I'd love to see more of that
Right.
here in
right.
our state, not just the region, but in the state.
Butte's such a natural set for the.
So natural.
Right, yeah.
And we still meet with location scouts, location managers, just to see what they're thinking and what possibly how Butte could fit in.
Right.
I give Karen Burns so much credit because she really made it easy for us here in Butte. When the call would come, it was, the permitting process was easy and whatever. So if you found the assets you wanted here, we got everything marked off and kind of set the stage. So ideally, yeah, there's more projects